Hey, and welcome back to my channel. If you want to create really powerful impacts, then you should definitely watch this technique. But before we start, subscribe to this channel for very simple but effective Psytrance tutorials. There are several occasions where we can use our impacts. So the first one is, for example, if you start your track in the intro. This impact was filtered. It hasn't a lot of low end, but it's cool here because we don't have a lot of elements yet, so we don't need it as strong. Here is another one after 16 bars. But where we can use it mainly is after kick rolls. So we got a kick roll here and some riser before, and we want to use the boom to lead into the next section and make a cool transition here. And another part where we can use this is in the break. So we can either place like an impact in between in the break, or here I filtered the kick and bass. Or we can use it at the end of a track. It's a similar concept as in the intro. Now you know how to use it and where to use it. I want to show you how to create it. It's pretty simple. We need one of our kicks, and for that we will create a new audio. We put the audio on resampling. We solo our kick because we only want to resample the kick. We record it. We just need one kick, so we can delete this here. So make it a bit shorter, that we are sure that there's no artifacts or something from the next sound. We remove the fades. We bounce it with Command J. And now we got our resampled kick here. It sounds as expected, like the original kick. What we want to do now is we want to warp it on warp mode tones. You can experiment which one you like. In my opinion, it doesn't make a huge difference on this impact sound, but sometimes you get very nice effects from changing the warp modes. And we want to put the double BPM number in 290. Also need to make sure to make it longer, as our sound got longer. And now we already got half of our impact. As you hear, it's very boomy and darker than before. And the next step is that we need to apply a very large reverb to it. And with this, you already are ready to use the impact, and now it's tweaking to how you like it. There are different ways to tweak it. One I want to show you is with another MIDI track. We use impulse from instruments. We drag our audio on the first slot. We create a MIDI. And what you can do here in the impulse, you can play a bit with the settings, and with different settings you get it sounding a bit different. So for example, this may be some setting for the intro. It still has a little bit too much low end for my taste, but you can also use an EQ later. We can transpose it easily here. You could do the same if you don't want to use this here in the sample with transpose. Can stretch it more, but I think the more interesting things are down here. It's clipping a bit, so we need to take care of that. Just play around with the settings as you like, but you already hear this difference to our original sample. Now I want to explain you something about the reverbs. I will use this one here, A, B, C, D, E. Here I prepared 3 reverbs. One is the Ableton reverb. I loaded in Cathedral and changed the settings a bit. So if you wanna try this at home, then just copy all the settings here. You can pause the video for a second. Then you get a reverb which sounds like this. Then my personal favorite is Valhalla. You can change a lot here in those Valhalla room settings, but what I think is most important, as it's on Ascend, you want to have the mix on 100%. I put the depths on 100%. I high cut it a lot. You can play around. I think values between like 3 and 10K give good results. You want to have a large decay. You can use maybe something between like 2 and 10 seconds here. And you can play with the pre-delay. I think values around like 20 milliseconds. It depends. You can actually, I think, calculate what's the best pre-delay just with your BPM number. You can also try and hear what's best. On the right side here, I put a larger late size and crossing here, low modulation rate, and yes, that's basically different. You just have to play around. But what I think which also gives a lot of color to this is the reverb mode here, because some modes, they don't sound right for the impact. For example, this one sounds good. But this one, for example, you may hear this kind of like resonant drum sound in there. That's something I don't like, so I would recommend you to use this one. This works really good, in my opinion. There's one more thing a lot of people use for impacts is convolutional reverb. You can download this I think as an Ableton user for free. You have to check this. It's Max for Live convolution reverb. You can download it here on ableton.com. PAX convolution reverb. Here, I think if you have standard, you can download this. And this also gives very cool results. I use this chambers in large rooms, so I'm always looking for like a very large reverb, and this BM7 old chamber. But as you have heard, the reverb affects the sound a lot. So depending on what you do here, you get a totally different impact. So that's something you need to take a lot of time and experimenting to find what you want to have. Now we just have the impact. What you can also do is you can layer some sounds with this impact. For example, if we create an audio track and layer a tambourine over it, I wouldn't do this too loud, and it's important that you put it in the same send with the same reverb, and then you find some position which suits. maybe some delay on it. And a bit darker. Like this. And you can also filter it a bit with EQ. That doesn't sound so bright. Maybe like this. Maybe some low cut in it. And that's something you can do as you like. You can use like 1 or you can use 5. You can low cut it more or less. You can put more delay on it as you like. I keep mine very simple. I don't layer stuff on it, but some people like it and it may fit your track. Let me know in the comments what you think about this technique, or you have any cool additions I didn't mention or know. And here is another video how you can create really cool drum grooves with an effect rack. And the effect rack you can download for free in my Gumroad, link in the description. Also make sure that you subscribe to this channel that you don't miss any of my future videos, and see you next time.